Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the FPL graduates. My name's Josh,
My name's Jimmy G.
and we're going into this video. It's a little bit different today. I don't know if you noticed. Ben looks a little bit different. We're going to be looking through Jimmy G's team. It's going to be really interesting. He's got a very different strategy to me and Ben, so I thought I'd get him on. Show a different side of the community. See not just mine and Ben's boring template picks. So we'll have a look at it. Obviously, a really good record as well, as you can see. So yeah, we'll get into it. Jimmy, you're a Wolves fan. Give us
Yeah,
a bit of intel, mate. You're a bit of the ITK Wolves these days.
yeah.
Obviously, I know Sim was interested about penalties. Is there any light
Mm.
on that? If obviously City first game week's not ideal, but going on from that, you guys have got a decent run, right?
Yeah. We've got a pretty decent start to season fixtures wise. I mean, I'll be honest, there's not a huge amount of excitement for the season beginning amongst Wolves fans currently. It's been a tough pre-season. Some of the signings probably really haven't come in as sort of has been expected, as sort of promised from the owners. So there's a bit of a slightly negative feel, shall we say, going into the start of the season. But I think there still could be, from an FPL point of view, some decent standout picks. I think defensively, I think Wolves are going to be doing a lot of defending this year. At the end of the day, so defensively, there's players like Agbadu, who I think is going to get lots of DEFCON points this season. Central centre backs, I think, are usually pretty decent for that. Looking at how the numbers coming through, and then um, the penalty situation. I mean, the two between will be between Arias and Strand Larson, but Wolves didn't have a penalty all of last season, so maybe something that no one even needs to worry about. Maybe we'll go 2 seasons in a row with no penalties again. Arias has got a reasonable record in Brazil at penalties. I think he's about a 66% strike rate, which is fine, I guess, as a penalty taker. Strand Larson's only ever taken a few in his career. I think most people at Wolves are expecting it to be Strand Larson. We did have one penalty in pre-season, but typically they're all off the pitch, or Arias hadn't signed or wasn't ready to play, and Wang took it and missed, and he's probably off anyway. Forced to put money on it, I'd say it was Strand Larson would probably be the penalty taker for Wolves, but I wouldn't be jumping to put loads of players in. The only three I would go for Wolves from FPL. Oh, Jose Sarr. I think Jose Sarr would be fine as a 4.5 million goalkeeper, but it'd be Agbadu, Sarr, and Arias really, and that'd be it.
Okay, then. So yeah, we'll get into Jimmy's team now. As I say, he's very knowledgeable on Wolves, but also on FPL as well. He's got a very different strategy. That's why I wanted to bring him onto the channel because it's not your bog standard draft, which I think is really interesting. I think this is a going to be definitely become more popular as the season goes on when people start to realize the importance of DEFCON. And it is okay, it's only just 2 points, but if you can get those 2 points most weeks, it's going to massively rack up at the end of the day. So yeah, Jimmy, do you want to, first of all, before you go through your defense and stuff, do you want to talk around your sort of philosophy, strategy, that kind of thing? It sounds a bit technical and stuff like that when I was
Yeah,
bringing it
yeah.
up.
No, that's good. You'll see it's 4-5-1 is what I'm currently going with, and I'm trying to maybe get ahead of the curve. Obviously, we'll see what happens when the points come in, whether it works or not. But as you mentioned, there's sort of big changes this year for DEFCONs. I think it's going to impact. I don't know. I feel more comfortable back in the DEFCONs for the defenders than I do the midfielders. I think 12 is quite a large
Yeah.
threshold to reach, unless it's sort of your Elliot Andersons or your Beliebers, maybe. I think, or Caicedo or someone like that. But I think that might be a bit of a struggle. So I've kind of ignored that from a midfield point of view. But I feel like as well with the bonus point changes as well, which I think is quite subtle, really. I feel like, as an example, what I would use is so in games where like Nottingham Forest would have that classic 1-0 win, Nuno classic 1-0 win, Chris Wood scores a penalty, clean sheets, classic Nuno, all that. But I feel like because the bonus points have been like lowered for like penalty takers and stuff like that, and they've been boosted a little bit for defenders. So I think they get more bonus for tackles based on whether being
Yeah.
gross tackles rather than net tackles this season. A little bit complicated, but yeah, basically in short, defenders are going to get more bonus points for doing tackling and defensive things on top of the DEFCONs this year. So I feel like strikers are going to get like where your Chris Wood might get like don't know 9 points or something, or 8 point. I don't know, 8 points, whatever. I feel like that's going to come down a couple of points this season, and we might see like your player like Murillo or someone pick up the DEFCONs and then the extra bonus points as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the general philosophy, I feel, of where my team's going. So I've kind of balanced it. There's a few players in there that have got attacking potential for defensively, but generally speaking, I feel like I'm just backing DEFCONs and kind of looking to, set the team up so that it doesn't really need many transfers, which might look quite crazy because when we get into it, my bench is quite weak. But I'm hoping that because I've got so many key price points covered, that if I did get a crisis, I can hop off players and stuff. But my plan is to either kind of just, it's really boring actually. I'm going to play ideally this same team week after week for the first few weeks, apart from like game week 2 where Steve will come in. But yeah, I'm planning to just build up free transfers, play the same team every week, and pray that the gods don't give me injuries or suspensions, really. And build up free transfers and give myself an opportunity for a mini wild card. So that's the philosophy, shall we say.
That sounds like Pep Guardiola school. That does. if Pep Guardiola combined with Dyche, we might have got somewhere. 4-5-1 job. No, but yeah, it was really interesting. I thought, like, when you sent it to the group chat the other day, I thought that's actually really, really cool, because obviously a lot of these defenders would have done amazing last season. I think last season in particular, obviously with the bonus points deductions for defenders, they got a massive hit, and to be honest, defenders were almost pointless last year to an extent. So this year, it's good. It's good to see that they've sort of tried to level out the playing field. I do feel like the forwards though now feel less valuable, which is obviously why you've only chosen one in your draft, which we'll get onto in a moment. So yeah, you obviously touched on it a little bit in terms of your chip strategy, because obviously we're getting 2 sets of chips now this year. Is your plan just to sort of save them towards the end of the first half of the season then?
Pretty much. I've kind of built it. Well, wildcard, I'm not, it's nothing set in stone, but wildcard aches thing. That's when like Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, West Ham as enablers have a couple of decent fixtures around that sort of period. So roughly aiming for that period, and we'll see where we go. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not big on bench boost 1. I get like the reasons for the bench boost 1 and like trying to like almost like get it out of the way because you need transfers to and plan for it, and then you basically use a load of transfers, and then was it actually worth it when you get 10 points at the end and you've messed up your team? So yeah, I completely get that, but I think what I'm going to go for the strategy of, which is going to be quite hard not to do because I'm going to get tempted to do it, is to not plan for it. So I'll play my wild card around that around game week 8 kind of period. Hope that we know by then who the best enablers are. Hopefully a 4.5 million defender will emerge, or a 5 million midfielder that fills up our bench nicely, and then I'll probably just hope a week comes and play it when it comes, really. And the same with the free hit. I'm keen to do it in a week where I'd have to restructure my team. So like, in life, Salah has a tough fixture, really good fixture, or maybe I need both of them because they both got good fixture. I haven't looked in that much detail, but when I feel like that moment is, and my team's in the wrong structure for that week, I'll probably like do it then, so I don't have to make a load of transfers to reshuffle my team around and stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. A lot of managers have been saying, especially some of the winners I've seen, they're playing. In their winning season, they play reactionary rather than sort of planning ahead. And I definitely feel that some managers do plan ahead a bit too much. Like, you do have to sort of, like you say, if you can get through like at least the first 3 weeks before the international break, and you haven't made a transfer, you're going to be absolutely laughing. So yeah, I think it's a cool strategy. Anyway, we'll get into your team. In goal, Verbruggen, do you want to touch on him?
Yeah, I mean, I've really struggled picking a 4.5 million goalkeeper. I've been trying to find 0.5 for Sells or someone like that, but I'm currently stuck on a 4.5 million. I think Verbruggen's got like that balance of like, how do you call it, sort of, they're like just a load of medium fixtures. If you look at it, and you get like a load of saves and a clean sheet was my logic. Like, he hasn't got loads of decent fixtures or loads of tough fixtures. You just think I could maybe get like a random 8 or 9, like in there, but most weeks probably 3. Yeah, I haven't really struggled with that 4.5 million goalkeeper. I was on Jose Sarr for a bit, but yeah, I think Verbruggen, it probably will be where I land unless for some reason I decide to free up a bit of cash, and then I might go for Stells, really.
Yeah, 4.5. I'm in the same sort of boat. I'm in that bench boost game at 1. Same reasons that you mentioned, obviously getting it out of the way and stuff. And having 2 4.5s is even tougher because then it's like I've got to pick 2 of these guys. So I think I'm on Sells and Kelleher at the minute. But
Nice.
yeah, it's tough. Also, I think another sort of caveat from the defenders getting DEFCON, I feel like it's going to impact the keepers as well. Like they're not going to get as many points as maybe what they used to get unless they're
Yeah.
making loads of saves or a penalty save or stuff like
Mm.
that. So yeah, potentially not as valuable in our FPL teams going forward. Into defence, then you're playing obviously that four at the back. A lot of money in there, to be fair. You know, the cheapest guy, I think it's what Lacroix at 5 million. Go through those guys.
Yeah, so sort of mentioned before, it's very sort of defensive contribution heavy. So Lacroix is in there. I was desperate to get to Munoz again. I needed an extra 0.5, an extra million to make those two things. But Colonel Lacroix, because I think he's got the best stats for defensive
Yeah,
contribution. You want from Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace are looking good. I think the fixtures are sort of they're fine, aren't they? They're sort of neither
yeah,
here nor there really. So maybe good fixtures for picking up DEFCON. Still a bit of defending, might have clean sheets to sort of get. But I think what interested me with Lacroix is he had quite a lot of XG last season. I think he had quite a lot of chances to score. So I'm hoping that he can find his way to scoring a bit more this season as well. And then moving on to the rest of the defence, so we've got Murillo, who we know is sort of he is sort of Mr. DEFCON. You know, hopefully good defensively again this season. I know they were a bit tough, not as good defensively at the end of last season, but hopefully at the start of the season they got a reasonably decent run before they start getting impacted by European stuff. Um, hopefully that will be good at the start of the season. And again, Tarkovsky, the other DEFCON sort of, was he going to be the number one defender last year? Was it with
yeah. I
the
think so.
yeah? So gone for him, and we know that Everton have got decent fixtures as well, really. And then Pedro Porro's in here because, well, Spurs decent fixtures, and I think Madison's obviously he's got that long term injury now, so Porro hopefully on set pieces as well.
Yeah.
Usually a very attacking player that likes to take lots of shots. So yeah, fingers crossed. I've got one attacking pick in Porro here, really. So
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think Porro is also going under the radar for DEFCON as well because in pre-season, I know you can only take it with a pinch of salt, but he's been racking them up. Obviously, Frank's system's a little bit different as well. He's sometimes inverted into the three, sometimes playing further forward as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But I think, like you say, some set pieces. I think he's sharing them with Kudus from what I saw. So yeah, I think he's definitely going on the radar. Obviously, 5.5 mils, a lot for a Spurs defender that
yeah,
finished 17th or wherever they were last year. So hopefully it's not as bad. I don't think it will be. I quite like Thomas Frank, so I think they'll turn that around pretty swiftly. You tempted by Williams? There's a 0.5 there potentially. He does pretty well
yeah.
Defcons too.
Yeah, obviously there's the rumours of Davis coming. I had Williams in my team for ages and ages and ages. But I got a bit freaked out by the fact that Davis, the rumours of that. But
Yeah,
obviously, yeah, as you mentioned, Williams was great for DEFCONs, and you got all that attacking return being the fullback as well, really. So I do really like Williams as a pick, to be honest. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is how I was talking about needing to make 0.5 if I do make a Murillo to Williams transfer back.
nice.
I could see that happening, definitely. I think he's a fantastic pick, assuming that the team stays as it is.
Yeah, obviously they've got Europa as well now confirmed. Palace are in the Conference League, so
Mm,
they are going to need a bit of squad depth, which is
definitely.
important. And another thing to also think about longer term if you're going into the season. Obviously into the midfield, then you've got Palmer and Jai, Fernandez, Salah, and Eze. It's pretty stacked out. Do you want to go
Yeah,
through those guys?
yeah, there's a lot of money in here. Yeah, so in Jai's here, yeah, well, good fixtures, penalties. Obviously, they've signed Grealish today. I'm not worried. I don't think. I've been trying to read a lot of Everton sort of opinion on this, whether Grealish is going to take any minutes off of Njai. And from what everyone's basically just raves about Njai, so I'm thinking
Yeah,
he's going to still get some consistent minutes. To be honest, he was a sort of almost my train pick, as I would call it, at the start of the season before the price came out. I was like, that is the one that I want this season. And I was really shocked when he was 6.5 million. Obviously, we didn't know about all the changes to the structure of the game. I thought he was going to be a little cheeky 5.5, 6 million max. But yeah, he has come in quite expensive. But yeah, I just think he's a quality footballer with penalties at the end of the day. Um, yeah, Palmer, I'm not really bothered about how Palmer finished the end of last season. I think he's had a decent pre-season, decent Club World Cup. I think Chelsea may be on a bit of an upward curve as well.
yeah.
I think they're looking a lot more sort of solid now. So I'm happy to back Palmer with those fixtures at the start of the season. Bruno Fernandes, I know, is the one that sort of divides opinion quite a lot. I've got him. Well, we know all the things he can do. Set pieces. I'm not worried if he plays a bit deeper, to be honest. I know that if he does, but I don't know. Well, you might be better placed to sort of say. I don't know, all the set pieces, all the routes to goals that he's sort of got, points. I just feel like with the DEFCONs, everything, I feel like no matter which bit he's playing, he's always got a chance of sort of doing something. And if he's playing deeper in a tougher game against Arsenal, maybe he will still pick up a couple of DEFCON points and stuff like that. So I'm not too
Yeah,
bothered. I think he's a fantastic captain for game week, probably the best captain for game week 3
yeah.
and 7 as well. So I feel like I just want to have those weeks covered off. Particularly game week 3. Is that the week where I'm making up? Is that the week where Salah has that?
Arsenal, Liverpool is that week, and I
Yeah,
think Haaland goes to Brighton, maybe. I
yeah.
think.
So that one's an okay shout, I suppose, if you're on a no Salah to go for Haaland. But I do feel like Bruno's the pick of the bunch that week, and I feel like I'll be annoyed if he wasn't there when I get to game week 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, Eze's the one. He might be one that I sort of take out to make a bit of fun. There's a bit of pre-season knee jerking after the Community Shield yesterday. Like I always felt like I knew Mateta and Eze probably share the penalties, but then when you see Mateta score the penalty, Eze missing in the shootout, and yeah, it all starts playing on your mind. And actually,
yeah.
the reason I went Eze over Star, well, predominantly penalties as well, but I got burned a lot by Sar last season when I went Sar instead of Eze, and Eze kept
Bit of
scoring.
PTSD.
So I was just racking up XG without scoring. I was like, yeah. So I'm a bit, yeah, it is basically PTSD, but I am tempted to go for Sarr because I think he looks good. He looks good. And then
Yeah.
Mo Salah, I'm not too scared about his poor pre-season yet. I always that sort of prefer the mentality that it's easier to have him and get rid of him than try and get him in. And then again, when you get to game week 4 and they've got Burnley, I don't want to be in that panic. And then, I don't want to research my team. Don't want to use the chip. So, yeah, I think if I just have him from the start, and then if by the time we get to 6 or 7, then and he's not doing it, then yeah, fine. I'd bin him off then. So.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It looks good all round. There's definitely a couple of DEFCON guys in there. Njai and obviously Fernandez, you mentioned. Both of those guys are racking them up fairly well. I think Njai almost goes under the radar a little bit for that. But he's like pretty consistently getting like at least double digits, even in pre-season and the summer series. Because
I've missed that.
Yeah, the data is obviously available from the summer series. So yeah, he was getting I think 10. I think he might have hit it one game. I'm not 100% sure on that though. But yeah, exactly, man. He's in your DEFCON team without even realising.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Cole Palmer's interesting. I actually took him out of my draft yesterday because obviously he had that drop off at the back end of last season, but it's predominantly because he's playing that 10. And obviously in the Club World Cup, he got moved out to the right, played off the right. I wouldn't say he's like right wing, but he's cutting in off the right a little bit. I feel like that's his better position, and that's for an FPL sense. Obviously, he's integral to Chelsea no matter where he plays. But from an FPL point of view, I think there's a little bit better. So I've gone to Saka because obviously Leeds game week 2. I feel like I could captain him there. What's your thoughts on that maybe debate of, because realistically, are you going to captain Palmer in those opening 3, or are you sort of
it is an interesting thing because I have no plans to captain Palmer sort of at all, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't.
You can free up another 0.5 as well, man.
Yeah, it's tempting me now. I don't mind this. I don't mind the Saka pick. Obviously, there's a bit of uncertainty maybe with penalties now.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of having penalty takers in my team, as you may have known. Player 5, maybe my forward as well. When we get to it, may well have some form of penalty. So, yeah, I don't mind the Saka pick sort of at all, really. But I think just longer term, I just prefer the fixtures of Palmer, really. So I think if I was playing a bit more aggressively and not trying to do the strategy of building up too many free transfers, I might have been thinking, I could swap these players in and out and around and stuff. But I think I just want to pick one that I'm set with for the 8 weeks until a wild card.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Jimmy's going on holiday as soon as Game Week 1 deadline finishes. It's just 5 weeks off, mate. I'm not touching my team.
No content, nothing. I've got nothing to talk about.
Awesome. Eze's an interesting one. Obviously, Community Shield yesterday, from his point of view, weren't great when Mateta takes the pen and then he misses it in the shootout as well, like you mentioned. At 7.5, I think it's an interesting price point because not only just for midfielders, for forwards as well, there's so many options. Like Sheshko got announced today at 7.5. Obviously, you've got Solanke, who's maybe not fit right now, Chris Wood. João Pedro. Like the list is endless just in forwards, and
It
then in midfield is obviously Cody Gakpo. I think Gibbs White is 7.5 as well. There's loads of options. Is it a case of just having that price point there, so when you do eventually make a transfer later down the line,
is.
you've got that sort of price point available?
Yeah, a lot of it is, and that's sort of what is bugging me as teams are holding the defence. I haven't got a 6 million defender sort of price point to sort of hop on. I feel like that is something I'm missing. A lot of key sort of players at that point. But yeah, exactly. With not making many transfers, if I do have to make a transfer, it's got to be someone decent. Because when we get, I don't know if you can see my bench, but my bench is sort of on the ground, shall we say? So yeah, so exactly. So being able to hop off to somebody else would be ideal, really, to be honest. And that's sort of the premise for the whole team. Is when we get to the forward line as well, we'll sort of talk to that. I feel like there's options like Fernandez. You can move to Verts. All these sort of things. I feel like I've tried to manage teams, so I've got options to go wherever, if needs be, really.
Yeah, no, makes sense. We're onto the forward line now. You got Ollie Watkins, bless him, on his own. He looks very lonesome up there. Obviously, he's been banging pre-season. He's like from Ollie Watkins. I feel like he's always had like an injury, or he's just not hit the ground running in pre-season. It seems like this year he's really nailed it. And obviously, with Morgan Rogers potentially injured for Gameweek 1, I think a lot of people are going to turn to him now as sort of that go-to 9 million. And then, like we mentioned with price points throughout this video, Gyökeres is the same price, so you could easily hop sideways. I think it's around game week 6, 7, maybe something like that. Yeah. Maybe around your wild card that you mentioned, where Arsenal's run looks really tasty. Yeah, what's your thoughts on Watkins then? And then also you can talk us through that lovely bench that you've got down
there. Do I have to talk through that? Yeah, so Watkins. Actually, I've been on him for. Don't want to be that guy. Oh, I was there before he started scoring in pre-season, but I did just really like the fixtures. So I was actually on. Well, when I first made my draft, I was actually on triple Villa at one point. I had Concert, Rodgers until the injury. So that's how Eze actually came in, and I ended up losing 0.5, all that sort of stuff. So I actually do want Rodgers and Watkins in this team, mainly for that sort of run of fixtures that they've got, really. And then it's even better. So bonus that he's hit the ground running. I just felt there's a lot of the forwards that I could pick a fault. Well, it might not turn out that way when the season starts, but a lot of them I could just pick a fault in them. Like minutes or a bit of a doubt, or
there's a question mark somewhere, isn't there?
There's a question mark around a lot of them. So I felt like if I had Watkins, who should, assuming no signings or anything come in, or obviously they sign Gesand as well, so I know he can play sort of in the forwards, in the forward line as well. But I'm hoping that I've got a Watkins who can play 75, 80 minutes each week, which might be better than I prefer. It doesn't sound a lot, but I prefer that security over the João Pedro, who could teeter with a 59-minute sub, or Chris Wood's got a bit more extra competition. Slanky's coming back to fitness. Strand Larsen, I don't know. I'm not overly convinced still about Wolves, even though I do think Strand Larsen is a quality player. Will probably all be in a lot of teams at some point. Well, a lot of people got him from Gameweek 1, and but yeah, it's just going for Watkins. He just feels safe. Safe pair of hands up front.
Until he misses that penalty.
Until he misses that penalty, yeah, exactly. I actually don't even rate. I don't even know if he's that good at penalties, really. I'd almost feel he wasn't on penalties, to be honest, because I feel like it's just minus points waiting to happen.
Yeah, his record. I don't think his record's great, but hey, you got to back him, and
if he's going to take one. Service there. I've not checked the stats. I probably just had him once and he missed, and I'm annoyed.
It's his only missed one ever. No, that's all good. Onto the bench. Obviously, you mentioned it's super weak. I was thinking. I think I mentioned it to Ben in the last video, actually, that those 4 mil defenders I feel like could actually provide good value this year, just because of DEFCON. Obviously, they are going to concede loads of goals. I think everyone's really expecting that. But, the odd time where maybe they only lose 1 or 2-0, you're looking at maybe, 2-3 points, which, for a 4 mil, like the cheapest possible price in the game, I don't think you can complain too much. Obviously, Esteve's got Sunderland game week 2, which works well. I presume you'd probably bench Porro that week with City. So, yeah, I quite like the 4 mil defenders. What's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I do. Is Roden 4 on?
He's 4 as well.
Yeah. So this is where I have actually been using Soler as well. So Soler, I think, actually had Esteve. I can't pronounce his name. I had him as I I think if they had him predicted to get like the most amount of DEFCONs when I was building my team together. So I guess obviously with a lot of defending, that
That
sort of
was highlighted real fast.
yeah, yeah, that Burnley are going to obviously going to be doing a lot of defending. And look, I mean, they were a decent defense last season in the Championship. Obviously, it's a whole different ball
Yeah.
game. But if they can bring at least half of that sort of defensive solidarity to the Premier League, then hey, maybe they will pick up the odd sort of clean sheet here and there. Yeah, and I don't mind the 4 million defenders. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to go for I've seen a few teams going for 4 million defenders. I don't know if I'm quite brave to do that. But yeah, I think exactly with the DEFCONs. I'm not if you're picking a player just for DEFCONs and they're happy to come in and pick up the 2 points, then it's better than the 0 they would have got last year, isn't it? So
exactly, all the minus ones like Jan Bednarek. He would have done really well, which is sad to see. He ain't in the game anymore, but he would have thrived in this environment. But yeah, no, that's definitely how I feel as well. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I quite like Biol as well. I know he's suspended for Gameweek 1, but he screams like he might do really, really well in the DEFCON. And then also he has a bit of goal threat as well. I feel like Leeds in general, their recruitment has been large players. So I'm feeling like set pieces could be a good route to points for them, which would be interesting. Obviously, Dubravka is the best 4 mil keeper at this point of recording, so not much to talk on him. He might miss game week 1, but we think he's probably going to be first choice going forwards. Probably wouldn't play too many games, I'd imagine, for you anyway, with Verbruggen in goal. Krupi Jr., obviously probably second string to Evan Nilsson, not expecting too many minutes, but Mark Gue, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I actually was watching videos. I think that is quite accurate. I watched a TikTok video on it the other day.
I think if it's from Chelsea, I think I've seen the exact same one. So hopefully I've brushed up on that well enough. Yeah, he could be interesting, I think, for minutes. I was listening to Planet FPL's Clash Correspondent Week, the Sunderland one, with Spencer on it. And he thinks that, obviously not from game week 1, but as the season progresses, there could be decent chance for minutes. And for 4.5 million, like we're saying, this is, bottom of the barrel stuff. This is like good news. We haven't had a 4.5 million striker in ages.
No, we always get teased. We always think one is going to come. Pre-season, a bit of hype. What was it like Mubama a few seasons ago? We always think we're going to get one. They never come. But I think this is our best chance in a long while. I've got him in the hope that he occasionally plays. If he does play, fantastic, really. And he does seem the most likely, as you say. And they've got good fixtures at the start of the season, really, Sunderland, haven't they? They're probably obviously
the best, really.
Yeah, exactly. Not taking into account their own team strength. They probably exactly. They've got the best fixtures. So if by game week 3 he is in there, then hey, yeah, I might actually have to make a change to my team to bench someone for Dewey. So yeah.
Okay, then, so that wraps up Jimmy's team. Let us know what you think of his strategy, sort of everything like that. I think he went in quite in depth into that, which is really good and really insightful, hopefully, for you guys who are maybe looking to go that sort of more DEFCON route into your teams. It should be interesting. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for inviting me on. And if you want to check me out on TikTok as well, search up FPL Jimmy G. I'm also on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, feel free to give me a follow, and I'll be interested to read all your comments as well and what you think.
100%. Definitely give him a follow. He probably won't be making much content for the first 5 weeks, but after that, you'll be all right. So that'll be all good. But now, cheers for coming on, mate. I appreciate it. If you haven't already as well, do hit the subscribe button here. We're on our road to 5k subs, so if you haven't already, do drop us a sub. Me and Ben will be back towards the end of the week for our final team reveals before the Game Week 1 deadline on Friday. Me and Jimmy and Ben will all be at Fantasy Football Fest on Friday too. So if you are in the London area, grab yourself a ticket. It's like 20 quid. It's a barrel of laugh if you love FPL. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening in, tuning in, whatever you're doing, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.
But I'm not going down with you. So you may rise, but you'll never make me wanna stick around you.